Hey guys! So as you might have read of the title already, I am retiring from being a professional athlete. Actually, I have done my last international race in August on the Olympic qualification event. So if you don't want to watch the whole video, I want to give you a quick summary why I am retiring. So the short explanation is I don't have any money left. And I basically invested everything I got so far to make it into the Olympic qualification event, and then in the best case scenario qualify for the Olympics there. But I mean, I knew that it would be a very hard task to qualify, but I wanted to give me every chance there is, and I actually made it onto the start list of the qualification event. Obviously, I didn't qualify in the end, but that was basically the plan of my whole season 2019 was a little bit of all or nothing. So I invested everything for that goal. I knew it would be hard, and I knew it wouldn't be too realistic, but still I wanted to give everything I had to give me the chance to make it anyways. So the decision to quit triathlon definitely was well thought of, and I think I've started to think about it and plan my last season, or maybe my last two seasons, in the beginning of the 2018-19 season, so in autumn 2018, going into the Olympic qualification season. And I knew that my money definitely wouldn't last forever. I have the problem that when I left the training base in Saarbrücken in Germany a few years ago, I lost my sponsors, my local sponsors there, obviously because I wasn't living in that area anymore. And when I moved to my new hometown in the middle of Germany, I had pretty high hopes that I would be able to find a few sponsors, especially because the conditions for sponsorship I thought would be very good here. There is no big football club in that area that would attract all the sponsors, and I actually managed to get into, before and after each race, I had a full or half page in the newspaper about that race, kindly written by my friend Oliver Kubanek. And so I thought it would be I should be able to find at least one or two supporters. But yeah, as you might already have guessed, I wasn't able to. I contacted many companies, and almost all of them didn't even reply to me, and the ones that replied just said they don't have any interest. And of course it's not obvious that someone would give you money. Of course, people might think, yeah, he's a professional athlete, he's, let's say, in the extended world class level, so definitely he should have some sponsors. But yeah, in Germany, it's in general, it's definitely hard to find sponsors, because there's not that much of people don't really get that high performance sports can give a lot back to society. So high performance sports in Germany is basically football, and that kind of attracts all the money there is for sports. And the rest, if I tell people that I am or was a professional athlete, people wouldn't say, oh wow, that's amazing, yeah, you kind of dedicate your whole life to one goal, that's an amazing quality. They would always ask me, yeah, why do you do that? What's the matter? Why would you not take a regular job? And that kind of says it all, because if you look at, for example, college teams in the US or something, then there's just a whole lot more of appreciation for athletes, which we don't have here in Germany. So yeah, that was the problem, that I didn't find any sponsors. So I still had a little bit of money left from the time before, like a few savings. But I knew that it would last for one season, and maybe like if I'd stretch it very, very hard and maybe borrow some money from someone, then I might even be able to like finance 2 seasons, like going into the 2020 season. But I really had to manage my finances there. So my plan kind of was that I came up with in autumn 2018, winter 2018-19, that I definitely, like, my last aim in triathlon really was to qualify for the Olympics and compete at the Olympics one time. Of course, this is like the main goal of every athlete, which maybe isn't a footballer. So my plan was to put all my money that I got into qualifying for the Olympics, and if I would actually manage it, which of course would be kind of unrealistic, if I'd actually manage it, then I would come up with some solution, and maybe then it's easier to find sponsors or something, or I would borrow money from my parents or someone else. But like the main goal definitely was to qualify first, and there are like 2 different ways of qualifying for the Olympics in Germany. Like the main obstacle was to qualify for the German team. It wasn't like it would have been rather easier if I had to qualify for another country. If I just had to secure the spot for another country, then I had to choose another way of choosing my races. But in my case, as I'm a German, I had to fulfill the German criteria for the Olympic Games. And like the only part of that criteria that like I am suited for was the Olympic qualification event in Tokyo this August. And at this event we would have to do top 12 and be best German to have a safe spot in the German Olympic team. And yeah, obviously top 12 would have been really, really hard. I haven't ever been even in the top 20 in the WTS, so this was basically like a WTS race there. But I have been, like, I think 22nd should have been my best result so far, and like it was I would say it would have been possible, though very, very unrealistic. If I would have had like my best day ever, and then maybe the race would unfold in a way that suited me, it would have been possible. But still, I didn't really think, oh yeah, that would really be easy. So yeah, like putting all my money in for that event kind of like gave me the thought of, okay, I really try everything to reach that goal, and if I don't, then I can't blame myself, because I tried everything. So like during the season I went into 3 high altitude camps. This was basically like where all my money went, and I've been there with the Dutch team, which was really kind of them to take me into their team and letting me train with them, and also was really, really funny in the training camps with the Dutch team. It was a lot of fun there, and I also think that I did get to another level of my performance in that season. Actually, I think I might have done my best race of my whole career this season at the European Champs in the Netherlands in, I think, June or July. Maybe not result-wise, because I have been fourth in the European Champs before, but definitely performance-wise. So like just looking at my own performance, that probably was my best race ever, because I was really strong across all 3 disciplines. Then I did end up like just being 9th in the end, which is like 5 spots lower than my best result so far at the Europeans. But yeah, you can't influence what other people do. So sometimes the race like is in the best is the best scenario for your racing style, and sometimes it's not. And when I got 4th, obviously, like everything went absolutely perfect for me. So with these training camps, I invested, I think, about 6,000 to 7,000 euros already, which is a big sum. And of course, there is the travel to races as well, which takes a rather big number as well. And yeah, this was pretty much leading to, like, after the Tokyo test and qualification event, that my bank account pretty much had a really round number on it, and I knew that like this was it. If I'm at the Olympics, if I qualify, then okay, I'm gonna think about something else, and if not, then it's a really good reason to retire from triathlon. And just like argumenting logically, you could always say that yeah, if I'm not able to generate enough money, then just economically I'm not suited for being a professional athlete. So I have never really looked at money when it came to sports, but obviously when your bank account gets to lower than 0, then you should think about what you're actually doing. And as I didn't find any sponsors, like this, just no reason for, or no logic reason for continuing. So coming to another reason of my retirement is basically like the performance reason. So I've like definitely gotten better in the last few years. Like I've always like slightly increased my performance, but looking at the results, they kind of, I would say, stayed the same, because the sports of triathlon is just developing rapidly, and if you don't develop faster than the sports and your opponents, then your results kind of stay the same. So like with the same time, like running times, which I won, like for example 4th place at the Europeans like 6 or 7 years ago, I would hardly make it into the top 20 nowadays at the Europeans. So obviously, as an athlete, you kind of wanna get better, and you wanna get better result-wise and not just performance-wise. Obviously, to get better result-wise, you usually have to get a lot better performance-wise. And I kind of think that I might be like, maybe I could still squeeze out a few % of my performance, but I think I've drilled my body pretty far to its own limits. I mean, not every athlete is like equally talented, and I think when it comes to my talent, I would judge. Of course, it's hard to say because there is no one telling you where the border is, but I think I've pretty much reached my own limits, and everything coming above it, I would say, would require a lot more investment. So like I was like, my performance pretty much comes from going out and doing my training and doing my recovery at home, but on my own, so like stretching and stuff. And everything above that just takes more money to invest. So for example, like regular physiotherapy would help to fasten the recovery, and like a trainer that would be around me in every session or in a lot of the sessions, and could tell me like, how do I move, how should I improve on my technique. That obviously would help a lot. And then also like a coach for athletics training, so like strength training and stability and core training. That would also be something really valuable. I know that like from my time when I've been at the base in Saarbrücken, we had an athletics coach, which really helped, just because like you have someone with a really good experience and a lot of knowledge in that area that you can include in your training. And obviously I was like, as I was training alone, I didn't really have any external input like to improve my performance. Of course, my coach Dan Lorang like always made the training plans for me, but as he is living like 400 km away, obviously he can't like look at me in training. Still, I'm very thankful for him doing the training plans for me and supporting me as good as he could. Obviously, still, because there's a lot better athletes in his resume that he supports, but still, when I've come to Saarbrücken, to the training base there, Dan was still national coach there, and I was like switching to him as a coach then. And after he quit at the German Federation, I just like stayed with him, and we kind of trained together ever since, although we were separated by like 400k. But so if I like look at other athletes, even German athletes that are kind of like almost on my level, then, and if you see athletes having maybe many 10,000s of euros of budget every year, some even have 6-digit sum there, just because they're in kind of like for example a local or county program, or if they're at the military and get paid a good salary. And you compare it to me, and I have to do all my finance of the whole year with like maybe just so 5-digit number. Then it's just hard, and you think, okay, I might just not have the same opportunities to increase anymore, and everything that I might dream of doing, like for example having a strength coach or something, that would just cost money that I don't have. So there's no opportunity, there's no possibility for me to do that. And this is definitely something for me. Like I feel like there's not much to improve to anymore performance wise for my body. At least if I have the same conditions as I have now. So that's also, I would say, a good reason for retiring from professional athleticism, because I definitely don't want to like swim with the current and just like fly across the globe all the time and do the same results all the time. Because like I see some athletes that do that are around for ages and always like, I don't know, always in the top 20 in World Cups, but never like super winning stuff or doing podiums and stuff on races. And like for myself, I definitely can't imagine just swimming around for decent results. My aim always was to get better and in the best case win races. And like from what I've reached so far, I've done 2 World Cup podiums in my career. I've been got European medals. So I've definitely like had a lot of success, and like the next level that would be reachable would then be, let's say, like top 15 or top 10 in the world, so at world championship races. And for that level, I just see what the guys are doing that compete on that level, and like what kind of support they have. And even if I don't look at my own talent, if I'm just judging by the environment they have, I just see no chance of making it to that level without a decent amount of money to invest into the sport. And the last reason would be that maybe I was like motivational wise and passion wise, I might not have been 100% with the sports anymore. So I mean, I still definitely loved training and also to some degree racing. But if I look at myself a few years ago, then I think my passion has slightly decreased. Really not so much training wise. I mean, I still really love the idea of optimizing yourself and like pushing yourself and squeezing out every last bit of your performance. But looking at races, I noticed that before the races I didn't really look forward to like smashing it. It was more always the mental picture of I definitely wanted to do good results, and I kind of like I had the pressure in my mind definitely to make the good results, like in this season for example, to gain enough points to make it onto the start list of the Olympic qualification event first. And yeah, it was always like more like the possibility of kind of losing the good result rather than being able to like, or the possibility of making a really, really extraordinary race, which like maybe was the case when I was younger, because when I was up and coming, obviously you have more races where you surprise yourself and others just by doing something that you've never done before. And yeah, as I said, like the results in the last 1 or 2 years kind of stayed the same always. So I didn't really like have these moments of, okay, I've just done a race where I've been so much better than ever before. Obviously, because there's no room for being so much better than before. It would just be the case of like maybe doing top 15, top 10 in WTS races, which would be some kind of that. So like the motivational thing, like it's probably also got to do with the appreciation factor, which I talked about before. So like if the society around you or your personal environment is not too, let's say, not too fussed about your performance, then it comes down to only your passion of doing it. And as I said, like there's not really it's not like in the US in a college team, like let's say a basketball team, that when you were a high performance athlete, then you're kind of the hero, at least of your college or your town. And here it's, yeah, as I said, it's more like you have to argue why you're doing it and don't get appreciated of doing it. So with all that, you still have to see that I have seen so much of the world doing triathlon, and I've met so many super nice people all around the world, and like I feel I'm so lucky to have enough talent and have the surroundings to have been able to do that. And yeah, like as I have seen so much in my time as a professional athlete, at some point you think, okay, there's not too much to see anymore. I mean, I think I've visited like 35 countries in my time as a triathlete, so there's not many countries to see anymore, or like to explore anymore. Also regarding that only certain countries actually do triathlon events. And like if you have met so many people, so many nice people, I've already come to the conclusion that people are nice everywhere around the world, and like through every culture there's super nice people, and they're like usually they're really open to foreigners, and really like they always try to help you, and always want to know where you're from, what you're doing and stuff. And that was so pleasant during all my journeys. Obviously, of course, I've also met a lot of nice people here in Central Europe, and in Germany and Switzerland. And yeah, so like having seen all that, it already kind of formed my personality and my thinking about the world, that I feel like the triathlon circus wouldn't really develop me in my personality any further. And yeah, I've got so many other interests in life, and during my time as an active triathlete, I've always kind of like, obviously you train a lot, and you train every day, like 2, 3 or 4 sessions every day. So like during the day, you're like all your time is into triathlon, and if you're not actually training, then you have to think about your recovery and maybe take a nap at noon. So like all the day is gone already, and then in the evening, like basically every evening, I was doing some stretching or something like that, or leg rolling on the foam roller. So obviously nobody was forcing me to do that, but as I always try to optimize myself and to do it the best way possible, obviously I wanted to invest that time as well, to not ask myself afterwards, okay, have I done everything to reach my goals? But obviously you can't do anything anymore if you also invest all your evenings as well as the days. Then you just have no time left to do anything besides triathlon. And this is definitely something I really look forward to at the moment, and I'm already enjoying it. Just not being pressured, like having my own pressure, my own expectations to do everything perfect in triathlon, but to be able to also like enjoy an evening where maybe I sleep a little bit less, because I just don't have to care that much about being 100% ready for training the next morning. Obviously I'm still doing sports and do a lot of training, but it's just that the focus maybe makes it a little bit more, like less focus makes it more enjoyable. And this is definitely something that has to do with my own personality, that if I'm doing stuff, then I want to do it perfectly. And yeah, so going forward from now, it's like when I'm doing sports, it's just for my own well-being and for good feeling, rather than doing it to absolutely optimize and smash it. So just a quick recap now on my career, and then this will be it. I just want to tell you like what were my highlights of my career, and it definitely started with qualifying for the European champs in only my second year of triathlon. So like 1.5 years after starting triathlon, I already made it to the European champs with my coach back then, Rodrigo Nebel, and we were like that was super surprising and showed me what kind of talent I got for triathlon, that I was able to do that this quickly. Obviously back then it really helped that in the German Federation there was this test where I could excel just being a really good swimmer, which came from being a swimmer before, and then also being quite talented for the run. And as it was only a swim and run, it didn't really matter that I didn't have too much experience in triathlon. Then 1 year after that, I already made it to 4th place at the Europeans, which was absolutely super surprising, going there expecting maybe a top 20 and then coming out with 4th, just shy of the podium. So the next big highlight definitely was the silver medal at the team European champs, which was super fun being in a team, and I really enjoyed racing as a team in the team relay. And obviously it was a huge success to have a silver medal of the European champs. Then like the next 2 highlights were both at World Cups, and I had my first World Cup medal in 2015 in Mexico, in Huatulco. And this was just like the whole weekend was just all around like a dream, and then coming out with the silver medal as well in the World Cup, like my first World Cup medal ever, as well as super surprising medal. Yeah, just amazing, and still like looking back to that event. Then my second World Cup medal was 2 years later in 2017, again in Mexico. So Mexico is definitely a place I really liked, and like I still would like to go back to Mexico, because I mean I like the country, I like the people there. Also like the climate, like the humid kind of suits me, I guess, and I really enjoy having that humid climate. Yeah, so another World Cup medal, this time bronze medal in Yucatan, which was also super great and definitely not expected. And so my last highlight, I think, would be this year's European champs. Although it was just 9th place, I definitely would say that I did my best race, and that this is like performance-wise, and this is definitely something I want to look back on if I think about my career, that like I can say that performance-wise I would like this was maybe like almost the perfect race, and this is I would say that's something to be proud of, to achieve that optimization of your body in a race, like on race day. Obviously I wanted to do that in the Olympic qualification event as well, but yeah, if you watch my video about that race, obviously it didn't pan out that way, and I had a super bad day. Sometimes that happens, sadly for me. It was the qualification event. So yeah, as you can see, I'm not super sad about leaving triathlon. I mean, I've experienced so many good things, and I feel so lucky to have been able to compete amongst the best athletes all around the world. And this is something, definitely something I want to hand on to my children, or to other young people, that like how much of personality development you can gain from high performance sports. It's not just winning, and it's not just hard work. It's also a lot of gain through the sports. So if you have any questions, write them down in the comments, and we'll definitely, like if you're around in triathlon, we'll definitely see each other again. I suppose I'm gonna race some Bundesliga races or something, and if there's international races not too far away, I really enjoy watching them as well as on TV. So going forth from now, I'm just gonna be the fan rather than the athlete. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you around.